Are you still thinking about buying a foreclosure? Have I not talked you out of it yet? I did a whole video on buying a foreclosure here in California and Santa Cruz, and I was trying to talk people out of it then, but I'll give you some more insight in this video because I just listed a foreclosure property, and I'm going to go through the stuff that I learned that I think you need to know as someone who may be in contract or going into contract or considering a foreclosure property, mainly here in Santa Cruz, but I think you could probably make it work for California. Now, I've had people on my last video contact me and say, hey, I'm in contract. What do I do now? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the property, the bank. I don't really know the situation. I really tend to tell them that I can't help except go get, inspections and really but buying them on your own without a realtor, I think that's where it might get really difficult. And I would probably say, first off, the very first thing is to not buy a foreclosed property or even a short sale property without a veteran real estate agent because they kind of know where the pitfalls are. Anyway, I'm Michele, Replogle with Compass. How you doing? I'm going to go over the 3 things I've learned, and I probably really should add, I, of course, think there's value in realtors. I use realtors when I purchase property, in other areas or in different situations. But I do try to find ones that, have some years behind them and have a few transactions and have a few anecdotal stories, like how did you handle this situation when this happened, that kind of stuff. And then how do they go about helping me learn about the property? So first off, I would probably say it would be best to have a real estate agent who has some experience dealing with banks or distressed properties, not necessarily a foreclosure, but a property that needs a lot of work. How you can go through that property and understand everything that's going on with it, not necessarily that they have all the contractors that are going to fix it and make it nice for you, because not every real estate agent does. I have some contractors in my pocket, some I don't, but I can tell you that when we're done with the property, I'm pretty sure I can help you understand everything that's going on with it. If you're working with me, I think that's the kind of agent that you're going to want with a foreclosed or a distressed property. That's one where it just hasn't had a lot of love and you're trying to figure out what's going on with it. But the number one thing you need to know about working with banks, the number one thing is you're not going to get full disclosures, reports, records, any of that from the bank. Banks typically are out of state. They've never seen the property. They've foreclosed on it. They are now considered the seller, but they have no idea. They might have an idea because they asked for it to be cleaned. They usually use their own cleaners, which, by the way, the last one on my foreclosure property, not so good. Anyway, they came and cleaned up, and I know that they told the bank what was going on, but still, in the bank's mind, that's all anecdotal. They're just like, oh, that's what I heard. That's what they're saying out there, but I don't really know, and I've never been there, and I have no connection to the property. So no real good information about the property is going to come from that supposed seller. Now, when you work with a seller, a true seller, like, Joan and John of Smith of 123 Main Street, and you write an offer on their property, you're going to get disclosures back. Normally what's customary here in Santa Cruz is you're going to get a home inspection, a termite inspection, and then you're going to get some disclosures. And in those disclosures, you might see something that says, oh, the garbage disposal, it doesn't work. So you don't think, oh, well, they told me that doesn't work, and okay, fine. You might say, well, I've got a plumber, or my partner's a plumber, and they're going to take a look at it, and they're going to discover, oh, well, maybe the dishwasher is not hooked up right. Sometimes disclosures are so important because they don't really answer questions. Sometimes they bring up questions that kind of lead you down the rabbit hole of just kind of understanding what's going on. Maybe they have a backed up P-trap, the it's clogged or something like that. You know what I mean? So those things they're really important. And on foreclosure, a lot of times the banks don't want any part of that. Okay, so you've written the offer, and it's going into the bank. And you're like, but what is happening? Here's the other thing you need to know about writing an offer on a foreclosure is that it takes forever to them to get back to you. You might write an offer on a Monday and you may not hear back from them for another Monday if they're going to sign it or if they accept it or if they're going to counter it. What are they going to do? What do they want? You don't know. They just kind of, and as working with them, I would just check in like, how's it going? And they're like, oh, it's in with legal, and they're checking it out. And then this is the other thing about that whole thing about when are they going to sign it? It's the paperwork quagmire that you're going to get into with banks. They're going to send a bunch of stuff saying, hey, it's not our fault if the house is really messed up, or, we want you to hold us harmless, and we're not going to accept any responsibility for anything we don't know about. And here, sign here, and maybe we'll give you a shot at this property. But they also, like, if the period is in the wrong place, if one word is capitalized and not, or if there's spaces, it will get down into the minutia on how that paperwork is even presented to them. So kind of you're not going to get any disclosures that will probably tell you much about the property, if any, and reports next to none. And then the paperwork quagmire that you're going to get stuck in, or you're going to be rolling like a tumbleweed out in the desert trying to figure out when are they going to get back to you, and is this even really going to happen? And then they pop up and like, yeah, we're good, let's do this, and you're just okay. And then, so you've got your disclosures, and then the paperwork, it's endless to get their files done. But what I'm saying about that paperwork quagmire is it doesn't really give you much about the property, and you don't really learn a whole lot like you do when you're working with a regular seller. Sometimes just a very innocent, seemingly disclosure will come past and be like, wow, this is really big. The other thing you need to understand is to connect with government offices about the property. I really try to get buyers to go down to the county and talk to them about properties when there are questions. Sure, I can probably answer some. A home inspector can answer some. Termite, foundation, geo-disclosure, right? We have a local geologist. But what's going on with the property? Are there red tags? Are there county liens? Are there issues with the property that the county has problems with? And I can tell you, I bid on a property that wasn't in foreclosure, but it had the same element in that the city had determined this property was a problem, and they were going to go after the new owner for everything that they wanted cured on that all the problems cured on that property. And we did not know that. It was not disclosed to us. It was told to us that the city wanted some changes, but when we talked to the city, they were like, oh no, we want all of this. And they had this huge laundry list, and they were going nuts. And we were like, wow. We backed out, by the way. But this particular foreclosure I had, it did have a red tag. It did have issues with the county. And the buyer's agent very smartly went down to the county right away and got with them to understand what was going on, because you can get all these inspections. You can have contractors look at things. You can have, the best in the business come out and go, well, there's mold. It needs a roof. But nobody's probably going to tell you exactly what the county wants done to get that red tag removed, or if they put a lien on the property, which in the foreclosure that I had, they did put a lien on it. They said that the fees for the red tag that had been on there for a long time needed to be paid. And they told the bank that, and the bank actually cured those, but the bank never told us they were going to, really, until the end. They said, oh yeah, we're going to pay that. That's our bill. Never said anything. So this is a quick video really for me, because I could go on and on, but so no reports, no real disclosures from somebody who really has some, close ties with the property. You are going to get a lot of paperwork from them that doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't really give you a lot of information about that. And then the third thing is you really got to drill down and find out what's going on with the county and or city of a property to make sure you understand there could be entities out there that have a vested interest in how you use and develop that property, and you don't even know. So there's stuff you can do, but there's a lot of research. So basically, I would tell you for that, you got to do your homework. Probably have a little bit more patience with the bank wanting things signed. And then I will leave you with this. The banks can be negotiable about problems with a property if presented correctly, like with a licensed contractor, a summation of the work that needs to be done and why. I found them to be good about that. They're not timely. That's kind of one of the problems, though, is that you can send stuff to them and it really takes a long time for them to get back to you. There's not a whole lot of them in town. A lot of times the investors grab them and they're kind of dealing with the banks, and they're really looking for properties that don't have as many problems like with the county and the city. So it's possible if you see a foreclosure actually on the MLS or with, an agent has shown it to you, it may be because that particular property has more problems than the typical foreclosure investor wants to invest in. So I hope that was helpful. Of course, contact me, email me, and share, and of course, please like this video and share and let me know if you have any questions. If you're from out of the area, though, I probably can't help you. I do try, but really all of this is really for Santa Cruz County. Anyway, hope you're doing well.